we have studied the topic of probability in our junior classes, either in +1 or in +2. The main concept, the name suggests probable. So, what is the probability of happening the event? Event means you can say that what is going to happen with us. So, this is also a part of event. And as well as if we discuss about the probable concept of mathematics, then we can take the example of tossing of a coin. Suppose before tossing of a coin, we admit or we say that there are bigger chances of getting a head. So when two players play with each other, they usually toss a coin for their first turn. Or obviously they call for either for head or for tail. Whenever a person is calling about either for head or tail, he has a probability in his mind that it will come either a head or it is tail. Whatever he is asking. If he is asking about head, it means there is some sort of a probability that it will give you head. It will give head. So this is the basic definition of a probability. If we talk about the classical definition, then that is the happening of event dividing by total number of cases. So this is the basic definition of probability. We all know about the basic concepts. So the topic is probability. M is the happening events, or N is the total number of events. So this is the probability of X. X, whether it is happening of a tossing of a coin or it is getting a card from a pack of light shepherd card. Suppose I am taking the probability of getting the head. Then obviously there are total number of cases. Either it comes head or it comes tail. So two cases are there. Then what is the probability of getting head? It is 1 by 2. And suppose we want to get a card. And the total number of cards are, that is 52. And we want to get a card. Then a card anyone. Any card I want to get, then the probability is 1 upon 52. Suppose I want to get a card of spade, then there are total number of 52 cards, we all know, and these 52 cards are of 4 different types, and the total becomes 52, then you have 13 cards. So 4 into 13, that comes out to be 52. So if you are getting a spade, you all know that we have a card starting from ace, then we have a card of number 2, card of number 3, and so on. And then we have a card of number 10, and then we have a jack, then we have a queen, then we have a king. So total number of 13 cards are there. So there will be 13 spades. So 13 upon 52 is the probability of getting a spade, card of spade. So this is the basic definition of a probability. You must revise it as we have studied it earlier in our engineering classes. And when we talk about the probability of a happening of an event, then you know that the probability of a happening of an event, suppose it is A, then the probability of happening of event, its complement. The total probability is always 1. So what I want to say that the probability, we can also say that the probability, the value of a probability lies between 0 and 1. That is the maximum probability we can find. Tossing of the probability can never be 0. If the probability is 0, there is a non-event. Always remember. So usually we don't put a sign of equality here. Never. we put a sign of equality. Because null event, there is no case. So we also have this inclusion principle. You all know that is a probability of A union B, and that is the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of its intersection. Because intersection means disjoint events are here. So this is also the result which can be used. So one more important concept which come in the definition of a probability that is very important. It is conditional probability. So you must remember the topic of conditional probability. There is the theorem actually. The name of the theorem is multiplication law of probability. And what does it say? If the probability of an event A, the name of the event is A, as a result of trial is come out to be PA, and after A has happened, then event B occurred. Remember, after A has happened, then event B occurred, and its probability is P of B as a result of another trial. Then this is said to be the conditional probability of B, and with the event A has already happened. So we denote it like this, or it is more important to write down like this. That is B oblique A. What does it mean? The probability of happening of an event B, that the event A has already occurred. So what can I say? Suppose we have a box of marbles. So we have 3 red marbles and 7 white marbles. So what I want to say, suppose we have drawn red marbles already. So probability, or you can say that there is only 1 red marble. So it means probability of drawing a red marble is come out to be, that is 1. So how many red marbles are there? 1. Because that the case will be 1C1. Suppose if we have 3, then probability of drawing a red marble is 3C1, because only red marbles are 3. Similarly, the probability of drawing a white marble will come out to be 7C1, a white marble. Suppose I want to draw 2 white marbles, then it will be 7C2. And after happening of an event, when the other event happens, what I want to say, suppose we have drawn all the red marbles, so then the probability of drawing white marble, whether red marbles have already been drawn, then that probability is said to be a conditional probability. This is a very important example. We can also take the example of 52 cards. In the pack of 52 cards, suppose A is the event of drawing red cards and B is the event of drawing black cards. We all know that there are two types of cards in 52. Half of the cards are red and half of the cards are black. Suppose we have only 13 black cards left. So probability of drawing a black card, whether the red card have already been drawn. So that is said to be the conditional probability. We can take the example of a conditional probability in another way also. Let me read it. Okay. The formula related to the conditional probability is, that is the probability of a happening of a disjoint events intersection B divided by probability of B. This is the formula of conditional probability which we usually use in the chapter of probability. We can take the example. The example is probability of happening of event A is 1 by 4. Probability of happening of event B is 1 by 3. And probability of happening of event A union B is 1 by 2. Then they say that find the conditional probability. Conditional probability means you just find out the probability of event A whether event B has already been happened. So this is we want to find out. Now you can use this formula. Probability of B we already know, this is 1 by 3. We just require probability of intersection. So for this we can use the inclusion principle. A union B is probability A plus probability B minus probability of A intersection B. Now you can put the values here. This come out to be 1 by 2, this come out to be 1 by 4, and this is 1 by 3. This come out to be probability A intersection B. And the probability A intersection B will come out to be 7 upon 12 minus 1 by 3. This will be the probability of A intersection B, and this will come out to be, I think, 1 by 12. You can take the LCM and get the result. So what it means, you can use this value, that is 1 by 12. This come out to be 1 by 3. So this is the conditional probability of happening of event A whether event B has already been occurred. Similarly, we can find out the probability of B with respect to A. So this is the simple concept of conditional probability which we can use whether we require it. Related to conditional probability, we have a Bayes theorem, and the theorem is an important one. We can have the statement of Bayes theorem, and Bayes theorem says that an event A corresponds to a series of exhaustive events B1, B2, B3 and Bn. There are n events. So it means the probability of BIs will be there. Now we just want to find out the probability of happening of an event A whether event BIs have already been happened, and that will come out to the probability of no need to write down in this way. Just write down probability of happening of BI whether event A has already been occurred. That is the probability of BI and the probability of A with respect to BI, and this is a summation probability of BI, that will be the sum total of all the probabilities, and the probability of A intersection BI, the sum total of this product. You just see numerator and denominators are same, only in the denominator there is the sum total of all the probabilities. Always remember. So this is the theorem we have. This is a Bayes theorem. Related to Bayes theorem, we can have the example. The example is there are 3 bags. 3 bags are there. The first, this is bag number 1, bag number 2, and bag number 3. The first one contain 1 white ball. Second one, first one contain 2 red balls and 3 green balls. The second bag contain 3 red balls, 1 green ball, and 2 white balls. And the third bag contain 3 white balls, 1 red balls, and 2 green balls. So this is the detail of all the balls in the bag. Now we want to draw two balls at random from a bag. These are found to be one white and one red. This is one white ball and one red ball. Find the probability that the balls so drawn from the second bag. This is we want to find out. So the name of the bag is B1, this is B2 and this is B3. They are saying that these two balls have been drawn, one white, one red, and these are yes, two balls have been drawn, one white and one red. They are saying that find the probability that these two balls are from bag number 2. This is we want to find out with the condition of happening of A. Now, what is A? The probability of A is what? That is drawing a white and red ball from first bag. So this is the probability that balls, which balls, one white and one red, are drawn from first bag. This is probability A oblique B1. Similarly, probability A oblique B2 will be the balls have been drawn from the second bag. This is what we want to find out. And similarly, we want to find out the probability of A, happening of event A with respect to the third bag. The probability that the two balls have been drawn from the third bag. Now, let us come to the first one, that the balls have been drawn from the first bag. Now, first bag contains one white ball. So one white ball has been drawn from one white ball. What does it mean? The probability is 1C1 and into probability of drawing one red ball. One red ball has been drawn from 2. So 2C1. Then how many total balls are there? That is 3 plus 2 plus 1. There are 6 balls in bag number 1. So out of 6 balls we want to draw 2 balls. So this is the way to calculate. This is 1 into 2 divided by 6 into 5 divided by 1 into 2. So this can be cancelled. This is 2 upon 50. So this is the probability. Similarly, probability of drawing from the second bag. And the second bag contains 2 white balls. So out of 2, 1 is to be drawn. So 2C1. Similarly, that will be 3C1 and that will be a total number of balls are again 6. That will be 6C2. So in the numerator we should have 6 and in the denominator 6 into 5 and 1 into 2. Ultimately that will be 6 upon 15. That will be 2 over 5. So this is the probability we have. So similarly we can calculate the probability whether the balls have been drawn from the third bag. This is 3C1 into 1C1. The total number are again 6. That come out to be 15 and 3. This come out to be 1 upon 5. Now these are the probabilities we have. Now what is we want to find out? That the balls have been drawn from the second bag and the formula will be second bag. That will be probability of happening of balls with respect to second bag divided by the sum totals of these. Probability of B2 and into probability of A oblique B2. That is the sum total. Actually, you can write down in the denominator I word because we are going to take the summation of this. Better to write I here. So this should be probability of BI, probability of A oblique B. And what is I? I is how many bags are there? 3. So this will be the sum total. And probability of happening of the balls from the second, and this we want to find out. And in the second bag, what we should have? We have 2 white balls are there and 3 red balls are there. So ultimately, probability of drawing from the this can be calculated here. Probability of B2 is drawing that will be 2 C1 yes. What is the meaning of that? How many balls we want to draw? 2 balls we want to draw. So this is a total 2. How many white and red balls are there in the bag B2? That is 2 white balls, 3 red balls, and 1 green ball. This comes out to be 6. So probability of drawing the 2 balls from second bag come out to be 1 by 3. So this value can be used here. This is 1 by 3 into the probability of A oblique B2 comes out to be 2 over 5. Now you can use the values 2 by 3 into 1 by 3 into 2 by 15 plus 1 by 3 into 2 by 5 plus 1 by 3 into 1 by 5. So now you can calculate this value and come out to be 2 by 15, and it is divisible by 2 by 45 plus 2 by 15 plus 1 upon 15. So 2 oblique 15. In the denominator we should have LCM 45, 2 plus 6 plus 3. So 2 by 15 into 45 by 11 we should have. So that come out of 15 3s are 45. So that is 6 upon 11. So this is the required conditional probability. In the same example, we can also find out the probability of drawing the balls from third bag, and we can also find out as a practice probability of drawing the balls from first bag. So the question can be repeated at home for your practice. So this is the concept of conditional probability. Now after that, we can move to the concept of a random variable. The concept of a random variable, we can define that if a real variable x is related to the outcome of some random experiment, then we can find out the probability of happening of that random experiment or the outcome of that. And the outcome may be like probability of drawing a card from a pack of cards. So I don't know the color of the card. I'm just drawing blindly a card from a pack of cards, whether it is a red card or whether it is a white card, whether it is a card with the ace or card number 2 or card number 3 or card number 13. 13 means card of king. So we don't know. So we are drawing at random. So you just need to find out that probability. So it means this is some sort of expectation. So the mean value of this probability distribution, because x is the random variable, is commonly known as expectation. So we can say this as this is expectation or expected value of happening of this random experiment. So this is E of x. Expectation is somewhat a probability. So that can be defined as the summation of xi into f of xi. And if I write it down a small x, so we can take a small x here also. So this is the expectation, and from the concept of expectation, we can also find out what is the meaning of a probable event, or probable value of happening of the event. So this is a very important thing. Now, there is one more important thing when the trials are repeated. So if the trials are repeating, or it is repeated trials mean, suppose if the coin is tossed and the probability of getting one head and two tails, how? Probability of getting a head or a tail on tossing of a coin, that is simple. This is 1 by 2. But if the coin is tossed 3 times, then the probability of getting a head or 2 tails, that can be like this: head, tail, tail. And the probability that can be tail, head, tail, and that can be tail, tail, and head. So these are the possible cases. And what is the probability of getting a tail? That is 1 by 2. This is also 1 by 2 and 1 by 2. Then the probability of each of these events will be, we want to find out the probability of repeated trials, then there will be 1 by 2 and 1 by 2 and 1 by 2. That will be 1 upon t. So this is the total probability. This is the probability of happening of each of one of these. But if we want to find out the total probability, then the total probability is how many trials are there? 3. So then 3 will be multiplied with the happening of each of the events. So what will come out to be? 3 by each. So this is the concept of happening of repeated trials. Now n trials are there. I am taking the example of that. N trials are there, and or you can say that a trial, not take n trial, you can take a trial. One trial is happening n times. This is the first one, this is second one, this is third one, and last one is n1. So a trial is happening n times, and if the probability of getting a success is come out to be small p, then obviously we know that the total probability is 1. So probability of getting a success, this is a success. Then the probability of getting Q, that is a failure, will be equal to 1 minus P. We all know. And if R successes are there, then obviously N minus R will be failure. So probability of getting a success is P raised to power R, because we have R successes. So first success is there, second success is there, third success is there. Similarly, this is up to R times, because R successes are there. And then first failure, second failure, and then we have the failure, that will be N minus R. Failures are there. So that will be P raised to power R and Q raised to power N minus R. So this is, remember, we are talking about repeated trials, when the trials have been repeated. So probability of getting the R successes and N minus R failures can be occurred. So if R successes we require out of N, then the probability will be NCR, that will be P raised to power R and Q raised to power N minus R. This is the definition of a repeated trials, and this is the probability of getting the R successes. You can write down like this. This is the probability, and this is the probability of getting the R successes. And okay, suppose we have a zero success. We want to write probability of zero success means R is equal to 0, NC 0, P raised to power 0, Q raised to power n minus 0. Ultimately, you will get Q power m. Suppose we have one success, so NC1, P1, Q raised to power n minus 1. So ultimately, that will be the same term can be written. And suppose we have you can write them for 2 successes or 3 successes, and the probability for n successes, that is NCn, P raised to power n, Q raised to power n minus n. So this is P raised to power n. Now, if you want to find out the sum of these probabilities, then sum will be Q power n plus NC1, P power 1, Q power n minus 1. The next one should be NC2, P power 2, Q power n minus 2, plus so on. Last one is P power n. What it come out to be? This is the formula of binomial theorem. If you remember, you have studied this formula in n plus 1 class. So that will be P plus Q raised to power n. So you know that what is the probability of a success plus probability of failure? That will be 1. So 1 raised to power n means 1. So the sum total of all the probabilities come out to be 1. So this is the formula we have, and because the binomial theorem have been used over here, so the formula of getting the R successes, that means that x equal to R, that will be NCR, P raised to power R, Q raised to power n minus R. So this formula is known as binomial distribution, because the binomial theorem has been used for drawing this formula. Now this concept is very important, and we shall use this concept. And parallel to this concept, we will have another concept, Poisson concept, and normal distribution concept. So let us talk about some basics of this binomial distribution. And the basics are the mean. Mean means expected value of the variable, random variable x is np, and the variance. Variance means variance of happening of the event is np. This is said to be mean or expected value, and this is variance. And I think you have studied the formula of standard deviation. Standard deviation is the square root of a variance. Variance can also be written as a fold. So square root of variance means the square root of npq. Standard deviation you will get. So you must know these concepts also. Variance or mean. Now let us do questions related to binomial distribution. It's very easy to understand. Suppose we have a question in 256 sets of 12 tossers of a coin. There are 256 sets of 12 tossers. 12 tossers of a coin is happening there in a set of 256. In how many cases one can expect 8 heads? This is the question. We want to expect 8 heads and 4 tails. So we want to find out the probability of getting 8 heads, first one, and 4 tails. So 8 heads and 4 tails, obviously 12 toxins are there. So out